Hello and welcome to our first lesson where I'm going to start with some revision. Okay, so I think it's very important for you to pay attention to this lesson because this lesson it's very important for you to understand if you are comfortable with A1 content. And when I'm saying comfortable, that doesn't mean I'm not saying perfect. Okay, you don't have to be perfect with A1 content to move on to level A2. But on the other hand, if you're lost and if you don't know most of the A1 content, that means that you're not ready to move on to level A2. Okay, so uh, we will start this course with a A1 revision, and I'm going to show you and I'm going to revise with you the most important A1 content. And this is important for you to get an idea where you're struggling, okay? And if you feel that you're struggling with some of the content that I'm going to show you that I'm going to revise here with you, it means that you have to go back to your A1 course, to your A1 book, and you have to make sure that you're okay with the content where you feel that I'm not so comfortable with this information, so I have to go back. So this lesson that I'm gonna start now, it's an opportunity for you to revise here with me some of the A1 content, but it's also very important for you to identify which grammar content from level A1 you don't feel very comfortable with, and if that's the case, you have to move back before moving on to A2 for this A2 course. Make sure that you find time to go back, revise what you need to revise, and then you'll be okay. You'll be ready to move on to this A2 course. Okay. So the first thing that I'm going to show you here it's this, the sequência de números. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to read out loud a sequence of numbers. I'm going to read ordinal numbers, cardinal numbers, small cardinal numbers, big cardinal numbers. I'm going to read out loud a sequence with 10 different numbers. And I'm going to ask you to grab a piece of paper, grab a pen, write down the sequence of numbers that I'm going to tell you, and then let's see if your sequence is correct or not. Okay, so I'm going to start. I hope you're ready. Okay, you're already ready to start writing down what I'm going to tell you in a second. Okay, so I'm going to start. 684. Oitavo. 222. 16. 996. Sexto. 452. 736. 111. 78. Okay, I'm gonna repeat, okay? 684. Oitavo. 222. 16. 996. Sexto. 452. 736. 111. 78. Okay, and now I'm gonna show you my sequence, okay? What I just said to you was this. 684, oitavo, 222, 16, 996, sexto, 452, 736, 111, 78. Okay? So if you had like at least 7, 8 correct, I think you're ready. You're okay. If you had less than 6, 7 correct, I would say 7. If you had less than 7 numbers correct, I'm going to ask you to move back, and I'm going to ask you to practice a little bit your numbers in Portuguese before moving on, okay? Now it's time for us to check how to conjugate the verb ser, ter, estar, and ir. So you know, if you did level A1 with me, I said dozens of times or hundreds of times that you really have to know how to conjugate these 4 irregular verbs. And I'm going to start with the present tense, okay? So, do you know how to conjugate the verb ser? Do you know how to conjugate the verb ser? Hopefully, the answer is yes, because you have to know how to conjugate this verb in a very comfortable way. This is one of those pieces of grammar that if you're not comfortable with this, you're not ready to move on to level A2 until you're comfortable with the conjugation of these 4 irregular verbs in present tense, okay? So let's see the first one. Eu sou, tu és, ele é, nós somos, eles são. This is essential. Make sure that you know this, okay? Verbo ter, the verb ter, to have. Do you know how to conjugate the verb ter? You have to be comfortable with the conjugation of the verb ter, okay? Otherwise, once again, you have to go back and study and consolidate the conjugation of this verb. So I'm going to show you now. Eu tenho, tu tens, ele tem, nós temos, eles têm, right? So here we have a double nasal sound, têm. Same logic, okay? Make sure that you're very comfortable with this. Estar, same idea. Eu estou, tu estás, ele está, nós estamos, eles estão. So, estou, estás, está, estamos, estão. Essential. You have to know how to conjugate these verbs. And the last one, the verb ir. Eu vou, tu vais, ele vai, nós vamos, eles vão. Eu vou, tu vais, ele vai, nós vamos, eles vão. Okay? So, these are the big 4 irregular verbs you really have to know. Now, regular verbs that end with AR, ER, and IR. They are super important. You know how to you have to know how to conjugate regular verbs when using present tense. So let's see now the verb falar. Eu falo, tu falas, ele fala, nós falamos, eles falam. Present tense, once again, as you know. Let's check now the verb comer. Eu como, tu comes, ele come, nós comemos, eles comem. Very, very important. You know that falar means to speak, comer means to eat, partir means to break or to depart, right? The last one. Parto, partes, parte, partimos, partem. So 3 examples of regular verbs. Falar, it's the example that we have for AR verbs. Comer, it's the example that we have here for ER verbs. And partir, it's the example that we have here for IR verbs, okay? So if you don't know how to conjugate these verbs here, you have a problem and you have to go back. You have to stop this A2 course for a second and you have to go back and make sure that you know how to conjugate these verbs, okay? Then, verbos reflexivos, so reflexive verbs, palavras mágicas, magic words. Do you know what I'm talking about? Do you still remember what is a reflexive verb? Do you still remember that we have magic words that affect the position of the pronoun, the reflexive pronoun? You have to know, okay? You have to know. If you don't feel very comfortable with this, once again, you have to go back and check. I'm gonna check here with you the most important information that, in my opinion, you have to know about this topic. So, verbos reflexivos. Eu chamo-me Frederico. This is an example. I call me, or I call myself Frederico. So, don't forget that a reflexive verb, it's a verb that we use to describe actions that we do to ourselves or that the subject does to himself. So, I call myself, you call yourself, he calls himself, I wash myself, you wash yourself, we wash ourselves, and so on, okay? Hopefully, you still remember this information from your A1 course. And as you know, this pronoun here usually comes after the verb. Eu chamo-me Frederico in Portuguese, right? Because in Spanish, in Other languages, it works in a different way. But in Portuguese, the pronoun comes after verb. And then we have magic words. Magic words are words that every time we have one of these magic words, we have to flip and the pronoun comes before. An example, eu não me chamo Frederico. So the fact that we have here this não, it flips and now the pronoun it's not here after the verb anymore. The pronoun it's here before verb. Why? Because we have this magic word. So não me chamo Frederico. As you know, we have loads of magic words, and that's a problem, right? And in my opinion, and this is just my approach, my perspective, these are the magic words that you really have to know by heart on level A1. All the other magic words that you will learn on level A2, on level B1, you have to go with the flow, and it takes time, okay? But you really have to know that these words here, so the question words, they are not only question words, but they are also magic words. So qual, que, o que, quem, onde, quando, quantos. And then the word não, this is an adverb, não, that it's the word that we use for the negative, right? Like here, eu não me chamo Frederico. I don't call myself Frederico. So não, it's a magic word. It's essential. We use it every day. So you have to know. And also the word nunca. Nunca means never. And I'm picking these words because we use them every single day. And this is always, as you know, my criteria. If you use these words every day, I'm going to tell you they are super important. If you use them once per year, I'm going to tell you that, okay, they're part of the content, but they're not so relevant because we don't use them so often. But that's not the case here. All these words here, we use them all the time, okay? Just to finish this first lesson of revision, I'm not going to revise here with you because we don't have time everything that belongs to level A1, but I'm going to revise with you the most important A1 contents, or at least the content that I believe it's the most important content from level A1, okay? I hope you have enjoyed. Thank you for watching. I'll see you very shortly.